Hey guys, this is Brittany here with Surfing Waves of Light. Just wanted to give you a heads up on this video. I made a video last week about anger. It's so good. But when I turned the video off, I had used a microphone to help improve my sound quality, and it ended up placing this really annoying sound across the whole video. So I used some a video editing software to get rid of the sound, and it did distort my voice a bit, and there's other things. It's fine. It's a lot better than having the sound, but I wanted to give you a heads up. I won't be using it in the future unless I have an audio issue, but just in case you were wondering. And yes, so I hope you enjoyed the video, and I appreciate you all being here. Love you so much. Bye.
Hey everybody, this is Brittany here with Surfing Waves of Light. I just had a beautiful shiatsu massage by a wonderful practitioner named Kaya. I'll link her contact info in the description below if you're local to the South Jersey LBI area. And during my massage, I noticed that so many of the places that she was working on, I kept having these really intense feelings of anger come up, and we processed a lot of it, and she had some really brilliant insights, came to some beautiful insights together as well. And I got into the bus and I was thinking about making lunch, and then the guides said, why don't you channel on anger? So I know that this one is mainly for me, but I know that some of you out there resonate with my guidance, and yeah, I feel really inspired to bring the guides through about anger and just everything that's going on in the world. So yeah, the kind of like the housing squeeze came up too on people, rents being expensive in houses. So I think that's all going to play a role in this. So I'm going to bring in, I think, we'll see. Sounds like, starting to feel like Saint Germain, but let's see who comes through, and we'll see what they have to say about anger. And then when I'm done, if I'm feeling up to it, I'm going to tell you a little story about this guy. So, all right, let's see what the guide has to say. Greetings, dear being. It is I, the energy, the love, light, and expansion of Asante Germain, and I am pleased to be with you all today. This is a topic that is from my heart center. This is a topic that is of most importance at this time. There has been so much conflagration and distortion around anger, around expression. And this truly is, dear beings, the key to unlocking the steps that you all are going to be needing to take in order to complete this ascension process, this ascension journey. You see, one of the most brilliant part of the conditioning that the systems on your planet, aka you, when you were in unconditional love, when you decided what kind of experiences you wanted to have here, and the most brilliant kind of conditioning you placed upon yourself was the conditioning that told you not to feel, the conditioning that told you that some feelings were okay and others were not. And for this being, many women and men as well, the feeling of anger has been highly distorted. It has been highly removed. It has been manipulated to make beings feel as if they are angry, they are wrong. Even within the spiritual communities, we find that many of you are so worried about being peaceful that you forget that the emotions that are coming to the surface are the exact right one. And we honor each and every journey. We honor all of you that are embodying more and more peace every day. But as you are a mind, body, spirit complex, when you are trying to fill up that complex with peace, peace cannot go where anger, where fear, where sadness and guilt are still in resonance in that complex. And so as you are doing this clearing process, it can sometimes feel as though things are getting worse, and yet they are not. They are getting better because you are bringing these triggers to the surface. They are getting better because you are feeling angry, because you are feeling guilty, because you are feeling sad, because you are willing to admit the way you feel. We know that for this dear being, she was raised Catholic and she was told energetically that anger was not appropriate. She was told that suffering was a part of life and that to be angry was not right. And in fact, the cycle for this dear being would be she would get angry, that the anger would come up in such a volcanic way because it had been suppressed for a long time. Then she would explode, and that explosion would often be on other people or other things. And then she would feel guilty because of the anger that she was feeling, because of the yelling, because of the things. And so then it would reinforce her belief that she should not be angry, that the feeling of anger was not not deserved, not accurate, we will say. And yet, anger is what we want you all to be. Now, we will preface this by saying we do not want you going around yelling at people and slamming into doors and breaking windows and rioting. No, it is not that we want an angry response. We just want you to feel anger, because the world that you are living in, the amount of distortions that are pressed upon young children and babies as they are brought through this world in cycles of unloving natures, the amount of intensity and suppression that you are all dealing with on a day-to-day basis when you are still in the very conditioned mind, it is intense. It is of a high pain threshold you all have. You do not even realize how much you are up against because it seems so normal to you, and yet it is not. We tell you that in a loving reality, human beings are here to create. They are here to exist. They are not here as manual laborers. They are not here as 9-to-5 slaves. They are not here to give their most precious gift, which is their focus, time, and energy, to completing tasks that are not of passion, not of light, not of fulfillment. And we know that some of you are tuning in to better ways to spend your time, and yet we also see that the collective on this planet is still very much enthralled in this work-a-day, 9-to-5 world, where 2 days off a week is the norm, and in the United States of America, 2 weeks of vacation a year is also the norm. And we applaud you. We truly honor that you have been able to give so much of yourself to a system, to a way of being that does not serve your soul. It truly takes a strong, courageous, and motivated being to be able to tolerate the dictates on this planet. And so when we meet a being who says they are not angry, we sigh, we almost laugh, because we know that anger is the most appropriate response to this sort of feeling. It is true that the way that you have all been conditioned does create some slavery-esque means of existing. And this is not the way you are meant to exist, and yet it is perfect how it is right now. Like we said, we don't want you to be angry and moving through the streets and hitting people and yelling at your neighbors. No, we want you to take that anger, to take that guilt, to take that shame, whatever the feeling is. We want you to write it down. We want you to speak it out loud. We want you to let it flow through you. That is life. Life is waves of flow, waves of experience, waves of emotion. And the distortion comes when you all do not feel like you can express this thing that you need to express. When you all feel like there is an emotion that is not right. There is no emotion or thought that is not right. There is no right or wrong. There is only truth. And the truth is that in your highest expression as an incarnated human being, you would all be free. You would all be free to follow the dictates of the heart. You would all be free to move through your days with ease and grace, doing one, maybe two things, but taking the majority of time to honor yourself, fulfill your needs in a gracious and loving way. And when beings are entranced in this kind of flow, it is inevitable. It is also quite contagious, you see, when just a few beings learn how to work with the systems, work with the conditioning to create their own conditions of light, to create their own conditions of freedom, to create their own conditions of following the flow, they inevitably will involve others, because when a being is living from love, that love is so exponentially strong. And right now, the conditioning on the planet is quite tough, but it is unloving, and that is where it is broken. That is where and how we know it will not succeed. Because unloving thoughts, ideas, beliefs, and structures, they cannot go on. It takes an entire world's workforce to continue to maintain these unloving structures. And yet, as the things in the external environment, the politics, the environmental stuff, the housing crisis, as these continue to move forward, you will start to see, especially with these younger generations, they are not willing to play these games. They are not willing to buy into the housing market at prices of houses they cannot afford. We see that most beings on the planet cannot afford the houses they live in, and yet this is a normal ritual in your society. Now, again, we are not saying you should sell your house and move away. Stability is quite important, and where you're guided to be is fine. And yet, as you all start to realize that the time and energy it takes to make these massive amounts of money that are required to clothe, feed, and house beings, as you begin to realize and almost be energetically stopped by the universe in even being able to fulfill these energies, as you realize it is not possible, it is not worth it, you will start to see that beings will be more willing to release the things around them, the extra stuff, the extra space, in exchange for smaller spaces or different ways of living where they can maintain their groundedness, centeredness, and stability, and yet not be expected to carry the enormous overhead that many beings on this planet are forced to carry. And so this is how a fearful system works. What it does, it is like a pyramid scheme. Those who get in at the beginning, these would be the unloving family structures, banking, all of these type entities that you identify externally in the world, even though they are an aspect of you. They got into this system, this game early, and now what they need is for everyone to continue to follow suit. They need for everyone to want to keep up with the Joneses, to manicure their lawns and have a face, a pretense of being normal. But the younger generations, with all of their disabilities, the ADD, ADHD, learning disabilities, all these type things, these are not disabilities, but with these type energies that they are carrying, which are actually gifts, they are not going to be able or willing to participate in these systems. And that is the beauty, for it only takes the bottom rung for the entire system to fail. And so when they are no longer buying houses and when they are no longer willing to pay exponentially steep prices for the basic human need, there will be a crumbling, there will be a failing. Now, this is not something we want you to look toward as your salvation. We just want you to understand that the systems continue on because you all continue to play the game. And so when you're in these systems, inevitably you all are, the culture is still very strong and heavy, especially where this being lives in New Jersey. There is very much of this sort of energy here. As these systems continue on, it is not the systems breaking down that we want you to look forward to. And it is not what we look forward to. What we look forward to, what we entrance about, is all the beautiful things beings will do with this newly found time, this newly found energy. And in fact, all of the creative ways beings will find to be free, even within the dictates of this society. The crumbling of systems will not happen overnight. It will be slow. It'll be steady. It is like changes within an individual consciousness. You will know this from the work you have done on yourself. You make one small change, you implement it over many months or years, and that change sticks. And this is how the systems will crumble as well. In this moment, it would not be loving for these systems to fail. No, you would see mass chaos, mass homelessness, mass illness and death, because these systems are still supporting many beings. You can even look within yourself to see how these systems are supporting you. And if they are supporting you, we say continue on. We say follow your individual guidance. There is no right way to navigate this world. There are only creative ways to navigate this world. There are only ways to utilize the systems in place to help support your dreams, to help support your freedoms, to help support your journeys, and this we love. But what we say is that if you look out upon the world and you are angry at the medical system, or you are angry at the housing system, or you are angry at the political system, allow that anger to flow, but then look more deeply. Why does that upset you so? It seems to be in the external world, and yet there will be something within you that is resonant. There will be something more fine-tuned, more specific to your immediate environment that outward reality reflects upon. You see, what you see in the external world and feel emotion at is only showing you a micro situation within your cosmos that has an issue. And so as anger comes to the surface, let it flow. Let it show you what is going on within you. And it's easy to feel an emotion and watch your TV or go for a walk or do whatever the things are that you do to distract yourself. It is much harder to feel an emotion and sit with that emotion, write it down, talk to a friend about it, with the intention of coming to peace, with the intention of letting it go. And the deeper ingrained an emotion is, the more times it may need to come up to fully clear. But as long as you are calling in the highest love and light, you are calling in your guides and teachers, and you are asking for the flow of love. You are asking for the clearing of the anger so that more peace can embody. Eventually, you will be like a glass that is filled with the clear liquid of love, light, and peace. And now, at this moment, there are parts of the container that have some muck and dirt, and you do not want to keep them in the bottle. You want them to come to the surface, skimming them out with a pool skimmer or shaking it up so they come to the surface. We care not. This world is not so serious. It is not so real. So even at first with anger, you may find it is quite explosive. You may find it is quite ugly. It may rear its ugly head out of your chest, your soul, your back, your arms, out of anywhere. And yet, that is okay. We ask you not to put that upon others, but if you need to express your anger, we want you to express it. That is the important thing. Don't express it to other people. Express it with yourself, with your journal, with in your own room, in your quiet place. Swim in the ocean, tire yourself out. Do whatever you need to do to release this anger, and then see what it's showing you, because anger is a gift. It is just like all other emotions, just as when you feel the tingles and the excitement or the alignment of a right choice in a direction, anger is showing you where your energy field is being obtruse, where it is being interfered with, where your boundaries are not strong. You see, it is not that we want you to separate from others. That is the opposite of the journey back home. And yet when you embody fullness, when you clear your container, you create an energetic situation of attraction where your point of attraction is so high and so tall that you will bring into your field the beings who are in resonance and will support and lift you up. You will feel love, you will feel grounded, you will feel peace, you will feel a movement in the right direction with these beings. And yet when you are around others who are operating at a different level of consciousness, fine and well it is, you may need to create space for yourself as you are doing this clearing work. When you are releasing the thoughts and ideas and beliefs of these systems, you often need a lot of downtime. You often need a lot of alone time. You often need a lot of time to go within. And this world constantly puts you out into the world. It constantly forces you to go to this appointment and hang out with this family member and do this thing and that thing and the other thing. And this seems well and productive, and in some ways it is. But what we believe to be the most productive, and if you want to see the world change, we say take more time for yourself. We say go within. We say have time and space so that when an emotion does surface, you have the ability to surface it. If you are constantly in meetings or at work or with family or friends, and they are not the kind of energies that can hold unconditionally loving space for you, then what often happens is an emotion will come up and you stifle it, you numb it, and you push through it. And that is all fine and well. That is part of the survival process. But we want you to move into the revival process. That is thriving, revival. This is a new word we have just introduced to this being. She is laughing. We have interrupted her train of thought just a little bit with this. Revival. We want you to thrive. And how you thrive is by clearing the container, by taking out the trash, by bringing up, by giving yourself the time and space to bring up the energy, to bring up the emotion, write it down and release it and look at it. Knowing too that it is not true, but being okay that that is how you feel. We know that this being often feels guilty when she feels mad or angry or judgmental at someone else. And yet we tell her it is not that you are the judgment or the anger or the fear. It is just that that energy has been lodged inside you through years and years and years of conditioning. And now, because it was placed into a mind that was unconscious, now that you are conscious, it is coming up for review. Any feeling that is coming up, it is because it is the lowest frequency feeling that you are holding on to. And because we know that you also want to live in a world, a free world of love and light, where there is community, where there is support and love, we are doing the work of sending you the triggers, of sending you the stimuli that you need to relieve. And that is what this time is about. It is about nourishment, relaxation, release. That is the theme of this summer. It is balance. It is integration. It is embodiment. And that is what you are all working on at this time, embodying these themes. They are all themes. There are different ones, and you will find the ways that they work in your life. But know that as you are doing this work, it is not always beautiful. It is not always pleasant. And it is often uncomfortable because you were once completely unconscious. You were once completely unable to discern what was coming into you, but now you can. And so it is the moving out, it is the pouring out process. And because you have your new mind, because you are training your brain into love, loving yourself first and then loving others, you will be able to discern what you need to do. There is no need to continue to walk into a fire that burns you as a trigger. Allow yourself the time and space to process. Where did this come from? What may have happened in childhood that started this issue, this trigger, this moment of fear that comes to the surface? This is the work to be done. And when you do that, you will find that these triggers over time will release. Someone will say something to you that once would have lit you off like a firecracker, and then they will say it to you, and maybe you'll still feel the edge a little, but you will notice, wow, I've really worked through that. Wow, I've really given away the stories that I was telling about, that I've really made an effort to release. And the releasing is hard because part of the issue is that these conditionings, these unloving ways of doing things are so ingrained in the foundation of your life that it is difficult for you all to continue on meeting your basic human need without these ingrained. And yet know that we will bring these up one at a time. We will never ask you to sell your house and move to another place overnight. We will never ask you to do anything urgently. We will show you kindly and softly over time how to release that unloving belief and find the way to be free, find the way to live in the light and walk the path where your days are in love, where you still can serve your purpose through a career, a job, or a passion, and yet it will not be the thing that contains you. It will not be the thing that defines you. This is the new way of being. This is the new way of life. This is how you can continue on. So when you are angry, heal your anger and thank that person. Thank yourself for being willing to feel anger. We know for this being, there's often a sense that because she is doing healing work, she must be chill and cool and peaceful all the time. And yet that is not the case. Yes, there are periods of peace, and then there are periods of lowered emotions. And that is the place where we find the most healing beings to be. They are not afraid to admit how they feel. They are not afraid to go down and deep and dirty into all the unloving things that have been shoved into you. They are not afraid to look at themselves and say, wow, I can't believe I ever thought that, but I know that that is not who I truly am. And so they move through it. And so they continue to become more of what they already are, the embodiment of love and light and peace, and so on and so forth. So when you look upon the world, there are so many things to be angry about. Be angry, but then decide what that means for you. Decide what information, puzzle piece, or gift is coming to you and allow it to flow. Allow yourself to be whatever it is you are. Place yourself in space and time where you can be however you're feeling, not limited at all by any of those around you, any work, anything. Just allow. That is what this summer is about. That is the energies this solstice is bringing in, and we are here to support you through it. We are here to listen to your anger, to listen to your fear. You can talk to us. We will not judge you. We will not reprimand you. We will only say thank you for being willing to release the garbage that was placed inside you before you were aware, but now you are, and we are grateful. It is I, Asante Germain, with all the energies of love and light of the universe, as I am leading the charge to the next phase of this ascension. I am honored to be with you all. I am honored to channel through this being. I am here for you anytime you need me. So please call upon me and know that I will answer whatever you need. I will speak to you again at another time. All right, guys. So that was Saint Germain on anger and world and all that stuff. Love Saint Germain. He's really great. He's very kind of has like a leader sergeant kind of energy. Yeah, and he spoke a lot about how I feel, and yeah, that it can be hard to look at myself, and I can't even believe so many of the times that that thought is within me, and yet it's just coming up to clear, and I'm learning that, and I'm getting better at what I've been doing is when I feel an emotion, instead of watching TV or going surfing or whatever distraction, I just sit down and I at least write it out. Even if it sounds terrible. I used to be afraid to even write things down because I'm like, what if someone sees this? And then what I'm doing is I'm gonna create a burn book, not like the one from Mean Girls, but a personal one, sort of like a journal, where it's just my place for letting out all the unloving emotions, not so much creative, but more just the unloving things. Anytime I get triggered or angry, I'm just going to write it out. And I have been finding that when I write these things down, I do feel some release. And I may experience that trigger again and again, but it's never quite as strong. And it really is just a matter of looking at it. So yeah, and continuing to trust and a lot of things. But that's just been my process. Wanted to share that with you. And last thing I'll say is just about this guy. So I went to Vietnam and Thailand when I was a nurse in the hospital, probably like 22 years old. And I was, I'll say now, guided to buy this. And I've had it for a long time, but I've been moving around a lot. So it hasn't always been with me, but it's been with me, but it hasn't always been, in my videos. And I just think, wow, the Arcturians have been working with me so long. And I just sense their energy with this guy. I'm very connected to the Arcturians. I'm not sure why, but they were the first guys that came to me. They were the first guys that really came through me in a clear way. And yeah, they sort of have this, when I picture them in my mind, they have this bluish green and gold. And so, yeah, I just wanted to share that with you because I didn't even know who they were back then. And yet I was guided to bring this guy home. So I love you all so much. Thanks to everyone who's watching my videos. And a shout out to James Beach and Mathigis, Mathijis, for a donation to my Buy Me a Coffee page. They bought me some coconut water. So that's what I don't really drink coffee, so mine's Buy Me a Coconut Water. So I just want to send a special shout out to them. Really appreciate it. It's always great to feel supported. I already feel supported by those of you who watch these videos and your energy and your comments. So thank you so much. And I hope you guys have a really great day. And if you're angry about something, write it in the comments. It'd be cool to see what we're all angry about. I sometimes get angry about the housing market. Feels overwhelming. And sometimes I think it's not fair that I need to live in a bus. But actually, I know that living in this bus is one of the best experiences that I'm already having and going to have. And it's really given me a chance to live in a much more simple way. So that's not the guides are saying that's not going to be the answer for everyone. But for me in this moment, it is. And yeah. So anyway, love you guys so much. Hope you have a great day. Let me know what you're angry about and know that this is a loving space for everyone to express and know that we're all coming to peace by letting it go, recycling back out to the universe. Speak to you again at another time. Bye.